lovely folks, welcome back to the second installation of this design vlog, which is about me hunting for the perfect French girl chic wrap dress. That was a mouthful. The last time I came to you with this was about 2 weeks ago when I started working on the pattern for this dress, which is going to be my fourth sewing pattern that I'm gonna release on Etsy. When I worked on that pattern last, I was actually sort of in the camp of thinking that this was a done deal, that I was ready to move on from the bodice and continue with the sleeves and the skirt. However, it's not happening. We need to revisit the bodice, and that is because almost all of you asked for more cleavage. You want more cleavage in the bodice, and I have to say I do agree with you. I think more cleavage would definitely help make this wrap dress look more French, and that for me means that I have to redo the bodice completely, because I think that's gonna ask for a completely different approach to the pattern. Right now we have a bodice with a princess seam that has the collar attached to the front piece one. Don't know if that makes any sense to you, but the lapel is basically attached onto your main bodice pieces, both in the front and in the back. If I want to create more cleavage, I don't think that that's gonna work eventually, so I think I need to just draft a very straightforward wrap dress shape that has the cleavage that I want, and then add a extra piece that is going to be the collar to it. I do think that has some benefits. That means that you could use the pattern to make a simple wrap dress without a collar slash lapel, or you could add the lapel and make it a different piece altogether. Just has a different vibe about it. Right, so that is what I am going to tackle today. I think it's quite exciting. I think it's stage 2 of this pattern development. So I will have to put my head down now and work on that. I also have to work on wrapping up and finishing my third sewing pattern, which has been floating around the internet for a little while already. I've shared a few sneak peeks with you, those of you who follow me on Instagram. I have completed the pattern testing phase. If you don't know what that is, so basically once I get to a stage where I personally am happy with the pattern, any pattern that I'm making, I then in the next step have to grade it. Once I have graded it and I'm happy with that, I ask people to help me test the pattern and see if it holds true for different women bodies shapes out there. So that's the pattern testing phase. What I do there usually is I post a CTA on my Instagram stories and ask for people to volunteer to test the pattern. I usually send a picture of what the dress looks like so people know what they're in for. I usually get a good number of volunteers. I then ask them for their email addresses, send out the PDF pattern, give them about 2 weeks to turn the piece around, send them a link to a Google form and ask them for feedback. And I've received all of the answers to my Google form for my third sewing pattern, the one that is almost about to launch. And I have to say I'm very, very happy with this test run. The overall satisfaction of the testers with this pattern is between a 4 and a 5 out of 5, which is fantastic. There's not a single 3, 2, or 1. Very happy about that. So my goal for today, it is currently a Sunday afternoon. I've done all of my household chores. My boyfriend is out meeting a friend. So I have the apartment to myself and can put my head down. The first thing I'm going to do is to work on the wrap dress, because I think that the few adjustments that I have to do for the bodice of my third sewing pattern are quite straightforward. I can do that maybe another day this week. So today I really want to focus on the wrap dress, which means I will have to go ahead and redraft the whole bodice. So let's do that. Okay, so my current thinking is I've just retraced my front pieces, and I hope that this is going to give me enough cleavage for you guys. Is that enough? We'll see. We'll see once I test and put it on. And then this here is the front collar piece, which is an individual thing now. So this is either going to be sewn on here or not, depending on what you want to go for. So the pattern basically has an A and a B view, which why not? And then this here is the back collar, hopefully. So that should somewhat correspond. I mean, it's a little different from first what I was gonna go for. We did stay with the princess seam. It does have a lapel, but it's just a little bit differently constructed than before. So yeah, I mean, let us see. I'm gonna take a picture of this now. Right. I have now completed the pattern drafting process, and if you're wondering why I'm lying on the floor, my back hurts. I'm that age, yeah. So I'm on my back with my feet up on my wardrobe, trying to take a breather before I now go ahead and actually put the pattern pieces on my fabric. I'm not gonna twirl this. I'm just gonna go for it. I have a beautiful fabric that was gifted to me by a fabric godmother, and they need me to have done something with it by next weekend. So I'm just gonna go for it. Like, no regrets, hopefully. Good morning. It is currently 8:05 a.m. on a Monday, and I want to use the hour 15 or so that I have before I have to start work to assemble as much of the dress as I can. So I'm gonna do that now. I've cut all of my pieces yesterday. I also just wanted to give you a quick update on how my Ana Luisa jewelry is holding up, because you know that I've been partnering with them for most of this year, and they've sent me a shipload of beautiful jewelry pieces. And this set right here, these earrings and this ring, is actually the first set that they sent me, and I just wanted to give you an update on how beautifully the jewelry is holding up. I think you can tell that this stuff has been worn for well over 6 months, for extended periods of time. I actually do wear my jewelry in the shower, wear it when I work out, I wear it when I sleep in my bed. This is the first pendant that they've sent me, and I think it looks exactly like the day I got it. That is just to say that I still love my pieces. I am still a very, very big fan of the quality and the ethos of Ana Luisa, which is that they produce their jewelry carbon free, and the emissions that they do have, they offset, which I think is just really great, and it's a good choice if you want to get jewelry that lasts you for a long time sustainably. And that is that. Just wanted to give you a little update a couple months in on how these things are holding up. They're still shiny, they're still beautiful, and I still wear them loads. These are all of my skirt pieces, and I'm so curious on how this is going to turn out, so I'm going to sew this first. We have the front skirt panel 1, which this is where the wrap is basically going to overlap this section here. This line is the center front. Then this is where the princess seam extends down from the bodice. We have these triangular shapes that's going to give us the nice flow that I was talking about. And then this is the front panel 2. And in the back, the same logic applies. So we have a fold here in the center back with the triangular shape in here. And then this is the second side piece of the back skirt. So I'm going to sew these together now. Took ages now to thread my serger. Don't know why. Didn't want to play along, so I threaded it with black thread now, and I'm gonna go ahead and search my side seams individually so I can then put the front and the back skirt together and sew around the pockets and have that assembled before I move on to the bodice. So basically I'm now gonna just serge down my sides for each the front and the back of the skirt, and then I'm gonna understitch the pockets before I actually join front and back together. Alright, so the skirt is completely assembled with all the seams serged, and it kind of looks like this right now. And it definitely does have the sway in the hem that I was speaking about. So when I now wrap this around myself, you probably cannot see it. Let me grab you. So there is a sway. I'm now ready to move on to the bodice, which should be pretty straightforward. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assemble the whole bodice plus the sleeves now, and leave the collar for the end, because I don't actually have a second layer to overturn the collar, which is because I didn't have enough fabric. I do have these 2 squares of fabric left, so maybe I can assemble this in a way that I can cut out 2 layers of an undercollar that then does have a seam somewhere, which is going to be invisible from the outside. That's kind of my hope right now. So I'll leave the collar to the end, which is this piece right here. Worst case scenario, I'll have to grab a different type of fabric that behaves similar to this one to overturn the collar, because again, it's not going to be visible from the outside. So I'll focus on assembling the bodice now, and then I can attach it to the skirt and try it on and see what it looks like. That's going to be an exciting moment, because like I said, this is the first proper prototype of this dress, and I guess that is going to be a moment of truth. Right, so the bodice is assembled, and I can now add the sleeves. Alright, we are trying the thing, and there is a few issues. Of course there would be. First of all, it's quite obviously gaping like crazy. I'm not entirely sure why that is, because I felt like the fit of this was really good to begin with, but clearly it's not. There is a good 3 centimeters too much width here in this section. Now, is that the end of this project? No, it isn't, because I do have the collar, which I can use to hide darts that I'm gonna add here. So I'm just gonna very sneakily add some darts here that obviously I will remove in the actual pattern, so I will try to hide them away. But for this particular piece, I will just try to hide them under the collar that I'm gonna add. So I'm just pinning this away now. The sleeves I'm gonna make shorter than this, because right now I just feel they're a little bit too long. So this is the collar piece, and it's wide enough, so once I've added it, it's gonna hide away the dart that I was speaking of. At the moment I'm feeling very unsure about this whole concoction, to be honest. I don't know, I just don't feel like it looks that great. I don't know if it doesn't look that great because I'm wearing it. Maybe if somebody else is wearing it, it looks better. I like the skirt though. The skirt is cute. It has very nice movement in the hem section. I mean, that's better. If I shorten the sleeve and I imagine the collar to be there, it does look a little bit better. Yeah, let's not give up. Let's try to make this work. A couple hours later, I went ahead, added a dart in the bust area. I added the collar, and it doesn't look right at all. I think you're a bit high up. Doesn't look right at all. So what am I gonna do now? I cannot risk fuffing this up, if you know what I mean, because this fabric has been gifted to me. I've been asked to make something beautiful with it, and I do still think that I can. I think this still is going to end up being something really nice. However, I think I have to sacrifice the collar on this time around. My thinking for this anyway was to create something, or to create a sewing pattern that has an A and a B view, so you could potentially either do or not do the collar. So you would have a normal wrap dress that doesn't have a collar, or another view where you would have the collar. So the collar on this one does not work, so at the moment I'm kind of like in the camp of removing it and just having a simple wrap dress. That is, I still think what was very successful was the test of the skirt. I think that's definitely the skirt that I would go with for the final pattern. So what I'm doing right now is removing the collar that I really don't like. It just doesn't fit the vibe of this. And then I need to have another look at those darts that I added to the bust area. I might want to migrate them elsewhere because that's maybe not the best area to have them in. And then I can have a think about the finishing touches, such as how am I going to now finish the edge of the neckline to make it look nice and clean. And then add some buttons. I'm definitely going to go with light colored buttons for this one because I think that really fits the vibe of those rouge dresses. Rouge dresses. So let me do those things and then I'll reveal to you what this dress looks like. Right guys, so I think you want me to make something for someone that is not me, because I just don't have cleavage. So making something with cleavage is probably not gonna work for me. I'm a small-chested girly. What do you want me to do? Like, I have nothing to fill this with. Okay, so in my mission to rescue this otherwise very nice dress, I am going to add a seam here. So it's actually interesting because I added a dart already, where is it? Here in the shoulder section, so it looks like I have a saddle here now, which is pretty seamless. Now, after having finished the neckline, it stretched out even more. So I think the fabric choice probably also plays into this. This just seems to extend and extend and extend because I took away 4 centimeters here, and now I need to remove another 4 centimeters, and it's impossible that I'm 8 centimeters off with my pattern. That's just not a thing, right? So it might be the pattern choice as well. Anyway, so I'm gonna add a dart here now, like under my bust, to make it look like that's intentional, hopefully, maybe. So there's like a decorative seam under the bust, and that's hopefully gonna help me shape this a little bit more. So let's hope we can save this, because again, this is a gifted fabric. I don't wanna ruin it, right? So let's go. Came back from shooting the final reveal for this wrap dress, and I have to say it kind of redeemed itself in my view. It looks really cute. I don't know if it's because I feel cute today or if it's because the dress is actually cute, but I think I kind of saved it, which I'm so happy about because, again, like I said, fabric gifted from Fabric Godmother. You don't want to mess that up. So really happy with the result in the end. I love the skirt. It's so subtly, you know, mermaid-esque. And I think this fabric, which is by the way called Elspeth Viscose Crepe, it's launching on Sunday, October 1st, is just the perfect fabric for a French girl chic wrap dress. So if you're on the lookout for something that is kind of like fall-y, autumn-esque, but still is suitable for a dress, this fabric is it. Very cute. Okay, gathering my thoughts. We have a long way to go for this wrap dress sewing pattern. I feel like I have to take a step back and think about what it is that I set myself out to do, which was to create a wrap dress that has an attached lapel. I know you guys want more cleavage, but it's sort of really hard for me to, like, you know, imagine myself as somebody who couldn't pull off cleavage because I don't have any. So I don't really know where to go from here. I will give it another go. I will try again. I will see if I can kind of try to stick with my first idea but give it more cleavage somehow. We will see. Let me know what you think about this dress though. This kind of like inadvertently moved from a design vlog to a very normal sewing inspiration video that I normally do, but you know, we live and we learn. That's how we roll. I also am very excited to announce that my next sewing pattern is going to drop very soon. As in, like, I'm committing myself now to say it out loud next Sunday. It is so ready to be revealed to the world, and I'm so excited to finally be able to ship it to you guys. I still have 2 versions of it that I yet have to make, and I also still have to film and edit the tutorial videos, but I am quite confident that I can make it. And I just wanted to give you a pre-warning because I think that's very exciting, so stay tuned. Next weekend something big is dropping. And that is that. And by the way, if you're wondering what these lights are, I have a little disco ball in my window. You know, helps me with the stress. Anyway, it was lovely to see you here. I read you in the comments, and until next week.